Hey guys, something I wanted to share with you today. This is a Sun keyboard. So this is an ancient relic from the olden days. If you're old enough to remember when this was new, that means you're pretty old. So anyways, this is something that I just happen to have laying around in my closet. Now you notice the plug on this. Now you can get adapters for these, but I think this is not even, it's not USB, but this is not even a PS2 port. I think, I could be totally wrong about this, but I think this is something proprietary to Sun Microsystems, but this should generally be used on their Sun workstations. Now, Sun Microsystems doesn't even exist anymore. They were purchased by Oracle, and now everything's branded as Oracle now, so you can't even get Sun branded stuff anymore. So I don't know if they still have Oracle versions of these types of keyboards. Probably not, but they're kind of decommissioning a lot of great stuff that Sun has done. I actually love the company Sun, and I thought they came out with a lot of terrific technology, like Spark CPUs, a lot of great servers. They came out with the Java language, a lot of other stuff. So a lot of great stuff came from Sun, but this is specifically an interesting keyboard. I actually had one at work for for some years at one point in my work history. It wasn't like this though. The one that I had at work had a USB connector and it hooked up to an actual x86, Intel based workstation. It was a Sun branded workstation, but had Intel CPUs in it. I ran Solaris on it for the longest time. I ran Open Solaris on my desktop at work, and they allowed us to do that back in the olden days. Anyways, it wasn't that old because the newer ones, which I guess are pretty ancient for today's standards, but this was back in like 2009, 2010. But those weren't even anywhere near as old as this because this doesn't even have a USB connector. I had a USB connector then, but otherwise it was almost the same keyboard. It has this nice Sun color layout. Some of this is discolored from age, I think. But it has this like slightly purplish grayish color mixed with this beige color, and it's just a really nice looking keyboard. I believe this is actual so you can see this is actual mechanical here. I'm not sure if it has like a membrane underneath. I think this is literally just a switch. I haven't popped this out, but when you remove these keycaps underneath, you see there's like a switch right here. I actually lost this keycap. That kind of kills me. So I'm missing a keycap for this one key, but the others I have on here. This is just a relic that I keep in my closet because I think it's a neat old-fashioned oddity, but it's generally standard keyboard. They had no Windows key, but I believe this is the equivalent of it. I'm not sure what they would call that for a Sun keyboard, but it is what it is. The only other real notable things about this, everything's pretty standard, like a standard PC keyboard, except these buttons and this. So the help button always threw me off because usually I'm used to escape being in the furthest corner. So even though this is relative to the other keys, this is where the escape key would normally be. I usually just look for the furthest key. So I always, when I want to hit escape, I always end up going for the help button. I'm like, whoops, wrong button. I'm supposed to go for escape, right? So this is a little bit confusing. I'm not sure why the help button exists, but I guess it had a historical reason. Now you have a bunch of other buttons here. Now these were pretty awesome. Most of these I didn't use, like stop, props, font, open, find, again. I wouldn't use any of those. Like I'm not even completely sure what they're used for, but I should actually zoom in on this a little bit. So let's move over to this part of the keyboard here. So you'll see all these buttons here. I'm not sure what most of them are for, except for these four buttons. You have undo. I think again must be redo, but undo is super useful. Copy, paste, and cut. Those are incredibly useful. So these three are very useful, or these four are very useful, but these three are the most useful because when you have to copy and paste, like you're going Control C, Control V, you're gonna you keep reaching with your pinky for the control key, and that over time. That's okay if you do it every here and there, but every now and then here and there. But if you're doing this all day long, copying and pasting snippets of commands and like copy a host name, paste it as a parameter into a command, or different, lots of copying and pasting. If you do that all day long as a sysadmin or whatever your job is, developer, whatever you're doing for work, if you do a lot of copy and pasting, it's going to hurt your pinky. It stresses your pinky out a little bit much, reaching for that control key too much, and that's a bit of a pain. And that's why this was amazing. You could just reach for this much more easily instead of having to hold this down and then type one of these keys to copy and paste. Instead of using two keys, you can just hit one key right here. Super easy. Copy, cut, paste. Super, super convenient. this was a game changer to me. After using this key, not this specific keyboard, but a keyboard that's identical to this one, except it had a USB plug. After using that, I could not go back to not having copy and paste keys. For years, that bothered me that, they make keyboards like this, and now PC keyboards don't have that. That is something really important missing from PC keyboards that for years I was like, I need those back. Those are so convenient, make such a difference in my workflow. For a while at work, at another position, I was using a piece of software called Auto Hotkey. I was on Windows, and you can do this, get it for Linux too, I believe, but Auto Hotkey. So you can set up keyboard shortcuts. So I could use, like, I set the function keys to be copy and paste. So go copy, paste, copy, cut, paste. That was pretty convenient for some years. That was like a workaround that would work. But then anytime someone asked me to, hit one of the function keys as a shortcut, I'm like, no, I can't do that. I have them mapped out to something else. I'm using custom software to remap them to something different. So it's not an ideal solution, but you can get by with it. The real solution is to get something like this. This is a macro pad. So I did more than one video on this. You might want to go back and check those videos out. But I have these keys: copy, cut, paste. I have select all, select line, and a bunch of other shortcuts programmed into this. So when I push one of these buttons, it's going to send that key sequence for all those keys combined over to the system. And this acts as a keyboard. This emulates a keyboard. So I have all those shortcuts here. This thing does what was built into the keyboard for this. So here it's built into the keyboard. Now, these aren't as flexible. They're not, as far as I know, remappable keys. You could probably remap them somehow, but they do have built the most important built-in features. These are here, and these are incredibly useful. But if you want more customized functionality, a macro pad is actually even better. It's kind of nice having it built into the keyboard, but a macro pad like this one will type an HTML tag, this one types another HTML tag, and these ones paste like sets of different tags and code snippets that I use commonly. So MacroPad is a little bit more helpful than, a Sun keyboard, but still, Sun keyboard is pretty good. This is a nice, smooth keyboard. Keys are relatively quiet, but it is somewhat responsive. They go down a little bit easily. It's not as clicky as the mechanical keyboards I have these days, but it's a really nice, high quality keyboard. Feels nice. I enjoy it. Nice and heavy and solid too. For a nice, solid, heavy build, this is a nice keyboard. Absolutely love this, and I miss the days of using these. And it's kind of a sad thing that Sun Microsystems had to go away. I mean, Oracle bought them out, and they're doing their own thing with Sun. But I liked Sun by themselves, and I liked their hardware. I like their software. I love the Java programming language. I know not everyone agrees with that, but I love the syntax for Java and just how the language works. I love working with it, and I love their hardware. They had a lot of great hardware, a lot of great servers. Spent years as a Solaris admin, really just a generic general Unix admin, but spent a lot of time working with Solaris and with Sun stuff, and it was great stuff. But yeah, this is just an interesting relic from the olden days that I dug out of my closet, and I felt like I would share with you guys. So if you like watching this kind of stuff or other tech related stuff, you might want to hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss out. We're doing a lot of hardware stuff. I was just reviewing some like Xeon CPUs and some old other Intel CPUs. We do a lot of hardware, a lot of software, programming, coding, 3D printers, Raspberry Pis, robots, electronics, networking, servers, and all that, PC hardware, and lots of different tech stuff you're not going to want to miss out on. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell icon so you actually get a notification when we come out with new videos. And, if you've used Sun hardware like this, or if you think it's interesting, go ahead and leave a comment down below. But hopefully you found this video interesting and enjoyed watching this. If you watched all the way to the end, hopefully you got something out of it. But that's about it for today. So as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on that next video.